Hey, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing? This is April with astrology.com, and I am doing a weekly forecast for you guys / coffee talk. So we're going to look at a celebrity astrology case as well. And yeah, so if you're coming through, thanks for coming through. I almost did not make it today. Kind of under the weather. One little thing I wanted to tell you guys about Mars transits. Hey, everybody, what's up? Is when you have Mars in your own sign. Right now, Mars is in Taurus, and my sun sign is Taurus, and my Mars is in Taurus too. So if you have a Mars return, so that means Mars is back in your sign, or Mars is conjunct your natal sun to some degree. Also, if Mars is in your first house, conjunct your ascendant, um, Mars can bring lots of energy, lots of physical drive and everything, but it can also bring illnesses because it could bring inflammation. So fevers and, Mars rules attacks, so you can be literally attacked by, outside influences, including illnesses or injuries, more prone to injury, or even people, verbally just attacking you just because Mars, that's what they can do sometimes. But yeah, so forgive me, I'm a little under the weather, but the show must go on, right? So I am doing a special request that some of you guys requested last week that I talk about during Coffee Talk, which is we're going to look at the chart of Ted Bundy. So Ted Bundy is a serial killer, and he's been back in the news because there's been a movie made about him. Actually, there's like a Efron. So he's kind of, there's like a buzz about him again. So people are curious about his natal chart. So we're going to take a look at his chart at the very end. But first, let's talk about the astrology of the week. So I am covering February 15th through the 22nd of 2019. There's actually a whole lot going on this week, a whole lot. But I am going to try to keep it as short and sweet as possible, but still informative. So that way the video isn't 2 hours long, something crazy like that. But yeah, there's a lot of shifts coming this week that's coming up. It's mostly just 2 days that there are extreme things going on. So first of all, let's talk about the sun in Pisces. So the sun moves into Pisces. It switches signs once again, and this is on the 18th of February. So from the 18th through the 20th, we're going to have the sun in Pisces. So this is going to be like a vibe that we're all going to be feeling more under the influence of Pisces. We already have Mercury in Pisces. Mercury rules how we talk, how we think, what we're talking about. And so there's already, Pisces season has already kind of began because of that planet entering the sign. And so we have the sun now moving there, and the sun is illuminating things in a particular way. It's beaming down a particular energy upon us, which is very Piscean. So it's a lot more shifting from Aquarius to Pisces is like all the feels, Aquarian energy. Let me move this a little bit. Aquarian energy is very cerebral. It's an air sign. The air signs are very mental, and not so much about feelings. They're more about logic and, thinking about things first before you actually act upon any type of emotions or anything. And then Pisces is like super emotional, all the feels. Pisces energy is all about empathy and, feeling for our fellow living beings. I don't just want to say our fellow human beings, because Pisces energy, if you know anybody that has it in their natal chart, they tend to be animal lovers and plant lovers. Like they don't want to harm anyone, you know. They just want everybody to be in harmony and peaceful. And I know some, you know, Pisces types of people that they won't even step on a bug. You know what I mean? They're just afraid to do that. They're such gentle creatures. So this sun in Pisces does bring a little bit of a gentleness upon us. It's very, very dreamy energy too, very imaginative. It's really about the arts too. A lot of the arts are associated with Piscean energy because it's about channeling. Psychic abilities, intuitive abilities are very Piscean too. It's associated with that as well. So we may be focused more on those things. There's maybe some heightened abilities that we have in any of those things, especially if you are creative, if you are spiritual. You know, it's a good time to tune in and tap in to those special powers that you have, and them being even more prominent and powerful. Um, Pisces energy, I associate, because you guys know I like to talk about like you know, colors and the signs and like visual things associated with the signs. Pisces, I associate like indigo and like, you know, any shade of like purplish colors. The color of the crown chakra, you know, is very Piscean because you really just kind of channel things through there, and you just know things. Pisces energy is about, you just know things intuitively, and you cannot always articulate them in practical, logical ways, like their opposite sign, which is Virgo, right? So that's kind of how, like, Pisces is about like nonverbal communication more than verbal. So, and like kind of telepathically communicating with each other on a very intuitive level. So, like I said, we already have Mercury activating it, and now we're going to have the sun stepping in and activating more of that energy. So that's just kind of a like the feel of the sun in Pisces for about a month. Yeah, like a little over a month. So you'll see in fashion, you know, when it's Pisces season, you'll see a lot of like mermaids and unicorns and things that are very like creative looking, all kinds of different colors. Maybe people dyeing their hair different colors. I always find that Aquarius energy and Pisces energy are the most prominent for doing stuff like that, you know, for like coloring their hair all these rainbow different colors. So Pisces, since it's the last sign on the zodiac wheel, I would associate actually all colors like the rainbow to be very Piscean, but also mostly purplish color, maybe like some aquamarines because it rules the oceans. So yeah, that's Pisces stuff right there. You're wearing a mermaid sweater, Beth? That is so cool. Yeah, because Mercury's already hanging out in Pisces. So yeah, mermaids, unicorns, you know, those are totally Pisces right there. So yeah, the sun in Pisces, very creative, very intuitive, very spiritual. So you may see more themes of that type of stuff come up more during the sun in Pisces. And happy birthday in advance to all Pisces people. It's your time to shine when the sun is in your sign. Like literally, I know that sounds very corny, but it's true. When the sun is in your sign, you do feel more energized and you feel like the spotlight is on you. If you're not feeling like that yourself and making the spotlight on you, then it still is on you. There's like people can really see you more, you know, when the sun is in your sign. Okay. So many dreams and downloads in the last, yeah, so many dreams and downloads. Yeah, Pisces does rule dreams, the dream world, the spirit realm. It rules all that stuff. So, you know, people can maybe be more in tune, like have more vivid dreams, or be very like the veil between the spirit realm and the physical can be very like thinned out, you know, and dissolved when we have Pisces energy in the air. A lot of people become much more sensitive in nature too, just overall, especially your water sign friends, and especially your fire sign friends. Is it fire? Yeah, your fire sign friends. Yeah, all you fire signs would be extra sensitive too because for Aries, it's your 12th house. For Sagittarius, it's your 4th house. For Leo, Pisces is your 8th house. So your water houses are activated for the fire signs when the sun is in Pisces. So yeah, it's very 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 sensitive time. So don't be afraid to reach out to some of your fire sign friends and water sign friends because they may be super in their feelings, and just kind of wanting to hide out. And they may need people to pull them out of the water once in a while and be like, how are you doing, how are you feeling, and check on them and stuff, right? All right. So yeah, that's the sun moving into Pisces on the 18th. Also on the 18th, this is when Venus comes into a conjunction with Saturn. They're both in the sign of Capricorn. Um, Capricorn is earth energy. It is about value, okay, um, and quality. And Venus is about love, of course, but also our material world, what we enjoy in the physical world. Venus is all about that. So when she's in Capricorn, she's like that already, like looking around like, is this good quality or no? Was this cheaply made or no? Was this well thought out or is this something you just threw at me just because? I mean, it can be like that, Venus in Capricorn. And then we have Saturn in Capricorn, its home sign. Venus coming into contact with old man Saturn, he's very critical. He is about the long term, he's about the serious with everything in life. So when we have Venus combined with that, what does that equal? When it comes to matters of love and money in your material world, um, you're going to have a lot more serious things on your mind or be talking about more serious things or investing in things. Capricorn is about investments because it's about legacy. It's about what you would like to leave behind for everyone. So yeah, that's legacy, tradition, anything that could be like passed down, generational stuff. That's all Capricorn. So a lot of people will start looking into some investments in general and what they can do with their money. This is tax season, at least in the U.S. where I'm at. It's tax season, so I already saw somebody comment on social media that they got their tax money back and they put most of it into a CD. So for those who don't know what a CD is, you know what? Honestly, I don't even remember what a CD is, but it's something that you do. You put your money into it as like a special savings investment. That I believe it can generate dividends or some sort of interest or something over time, and so you can end up getting more money in the end. So smarter investments, people are going to start looking at stuff like that. Venus conjunct Saturn can make you think twice or even three or more times about the purchases that you're making. Even with, it doesn't matter what it is, even if it's something small, maybe you can start thinking, well, first of all, is this going to last me a long time or is this going to be something that's going to break easily or run out very fast or run out, Second of all, you could be thinking about the quality. Like the quality of things. Third, you could be thinking, do I really need this? Because Venus can be about the things that you need in your material world, but also mostly the things that you want, right? Because it's enjoyment. So Saturn stops Venus and asks her a bunch of these questions, these serious questions. Is this a want or a need? Is this something that's going to really benefit us in the long term? So that can be with relationships too. The aftermath of Valentine's Day, right? Maybe some people are like, well, I mean, we had fun, we hung out, but are you somebody I can invest in the long term? Are you going to be here in the long run, or is this just a fly-by-night fun thing? So people could be thinking about that and discussing that. If you're already in a relationship, there could be some people that want to take things to the next level of commitment, and they could be very serious about it. you know? So they may embody the energy of Saturn and be asking those questions to their partners like, so where do you see us in 5 years? Do you see us being together or not, you know? So yeah. Let's see. You have Venus and Saturn conjunct natally. Well, let us know what that's like. Brittany, let us know what that's like. Are you, yeah, so that's another thing with Venus and Saturn. So I mentioned some pretty decent things. You know, I always got to give two sides of the story, two sides of the coin. Venus conjunct Saturn can also, for some people, it can make you feel like deprived. Saturn can tend to starve whatever planet it touches, right? So it can starve Venus. So some people may feel like starved when it comes to love or when it comes to money. They feel blocked. Um, but maybe it's because there are blockages there that you have to work through, you know, and Saturn is about hard work. So maybe there are some things you really have to work hard on before you can get to, you know, the benefits and the rewards of Venusian energy, or, you know, Saturn even rewards too. Even though he could be stingy old man, he can give it and he can take it away. Okay. So he can give you if you've earned. So those who have earned, who have worked on their relationships, worked on their money, maybe this could be a rewarding transit for them. For those who haven't, or, you know, maybe you've got some other things going on, you may be one of those people that do feel like, wow, you know, I don't feel attractive. I don't feel like my love life is going well. I don't really have much of an appetite, or you can feel blocked as far as earning money. But you know what? Venus transits, they don't last forever. Okay. So it's this week that she is in a conjunction with Saturn, and then she'll keep it moving along. So just take things as like a Saturn is about teaching lessons, it's about those teachable moments. So if you do have anything that's negative, you know, that affects you in a way that is very like not desired, you know, not your the way that you would want things to go, you got to think of like the lesson in it, the karma or whatever. Because Saturn is about teaching as well, you know? Okay, let me see. Okay, you have Venus and Saturn and Capricorn in your natal chart, Brittany. Okay. You guys have been talking about marriage and kids a lot lately. That's cool. Yeah. You can't always look at it as so fatalistic and gloom and doom, Brittany. Don't let anybody try to make you feel like it's a death sentence. You can work with the energies in your chart. You can work with the transits. You know, we do have, yeah, they have an influence over us, but we also do have some sort of free will as human beings too, you know? And to be aware is a blessing, to know all this astrological knowledge, to have awareness of your chart and of the things that could be potentially negative, you know, and try to work them a different way and understand them, you know. Okay. So anyway, all right. So that's Venus conjunct Saturn. So we also have Chiron moving into Aries. Wow, this I could make a whole entire video on. There's just so much to say about Chiron moving signs, but once again, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, since I'm, you know, a little under the weather and stuff. But pretty much, oof, you know, a lot of people have been feeling the heavy weight of Chiron at that 29th degree of Pisces. Oh my gosh, let me take a sip really quick before I dive even deeper into that, cuz Chiron, hey, you guys, don't underestimate Chiron. You know, we talk a lot about the planets all the time, the major planets, but Chiron, don't sleep on Chiron, because the effects of it are very, very important to talk about too. So, just one sec. All right. So, let's see. Oh, hey, what's up, Kimara? Da, 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 da. Okay. So, Chiron is shifting into Aries. Now, Chiron did leave Taurus and go back into a period of time in 2018 as well. And then it went retrograde back into Pisces to finish up some unfinished last stretch of business, Chiron business that we have, healing that we have in Pisces. Now it's going to go back into Aries, where it will remain. You know what? Hold on. Let me look at my notes really quick. Chiron will be in Aries. Oh, the last time it was there was April 16th through September 25th of 2018. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah. So then it's gonna move back into Aries now. And it's gonna remain there until like sometime in the 2020s. I think 2026 or 27 was the year when I looked at it. So this is a rare transit to experience. Chiron being in a sign, it comes back around to it takes like a little over 50 years to go through the zodiac. So it's very important to pay attention to where Chiron is transiting, as well as in your natal chart, because it's like a generational placement, you know. So for those of you that have Chiron in Aries, I think it's like the late 60s to early 70s, I want to say, of people that have this natal placement. This is your Chiron return. So you're going to be looking at, you know, painful experiences in your life in a different perspective with a different set of eyes, as they say. But yeah, Chiron wrapping up things in Pisces, super duper important to realize, especially the 29th degree. A lot of people are feeling it. I've already seen people post things on Facebook that are kind of, you know, talking about healing from people's passings, you know, of their loved ones, and just things getting to them. Um, it's very true, very true. Because Chiron, if you don't know what it is, because I know there's a lot of people that watch these live streams and they're just barely learning astrology, or they're trying to learn, you know, they're not all like super nerds like a lot of us are here. But Chiron is about I like to say it's like a soft spot that you have that it can easily be like bruised or injured again. It's something that you've gone through in your life, maybe once or maybe even a few times or continuously. It's an issue that you may have. And because you know what suffering is like in a certain way, you're able to give counsel to others. You're able to advise them. You're able to let them know about your experiences, and you know how they feel going through a certain experience themselves. So, it's been in Pisces, like I said, it's wrapping up some old things in Pisces. So wherever Pisces is at in your chart, um, Chiron is finishing stitching up some of the wounds that have occurred there. Whether that's like, you know, in your currently, or maybe that have, yeah, it's just things that have occurred there. Cause like I said, it's not the natal placement. But anyway, so yeah, Chiron switching signs. Um, so it goes into Aries. So, you know, wherever Aries is at in your natal chart is where you're going to have opportunities to heal a lot over the next several years. It's also where it could be very sensitive, a very sensitive area of life too. Like, for example, if Chiron is moving into your second house, that's for Pisces people. But yeah, if it's moving into your second house, that's your money, you know, don't just think, oh my God, money is going to suffer and be horrible. It's not just about that. It's, you know, healing issues that have to do with your self-worth, how you value yourself, how you value the material world, and, you know, about money, your views on money, your views on abundance and lack. So that can be a huge theme for yeah, for Pisces people over the next several years. So yeah, that's it moving into Aries, but before that it was in Pisces, and you know, you just got to see where that is in your chart. So yeah, opportunities to heal in another area of life going forward. And that's on the 19th. Also on the 19th, we have Mercury in a conjunction with Neptune. So this is transiting Mercury and transiting Neptune, and Neptune is fantasy and illusion. It's movies, it's photography. It's you know, it's the acting itself and morphing into a whole other person, becoming someone or something else. That's all like Neptune stuff, Pisces stuff. So the Mercury is like speech and communication, and then it's also skills of the hands. So when we have a combination of Mercury with Neptune, let me tell you, once again, if you're a creative person or if you do any type of spiritual work, especially anything that you do with your hands, that you create beautiful things, this is a really great transit for you, actually. It's a really, like some of you artists, your best work can come out during a Mercury Neptune transit. You just channel. Neptune is about channeling. It just comes out of nowhere. And then if you channel through your mind, but you can also channel through your hands to create. That's how that works. I have seen several DJs that have a Mercury and Neptune aspect, even the hard aspects that people say, oh, it's so negative. Well, for them, it's not, because music is Neptune and then it works through their hands, which is Mercury. You know what I'm saying? And then they can make some really nice sounds happen. But anyway, Mercury conjunct Neptune. Here's a few warnings with this energy. It could be very beautiful, spiritual, psychic, creative, and all that. However, it could be about deception, losses, like losses of information, losses of material items, like your debit card, your phone. Everybody loses their phone nowadays, right? Any of those things. It could be losses, loss of memory, loss of thought. You know, just being super forgetful with the Mercury Neptune transit. Loss of vehicles, you know, through people maybe trying to break in or something. Like, really, when we have these heavy Neptune transits, you guys, just protect yourself. Okay, protect your body. Yes, protect your personal belongings. Just because people who are not all the way in their right mind and may participate in like theft and deception for some reason under transits to Neptune, they tend to become more deceptive in nature, because Neptune is about hiding out and like kind of just doing things and pretending, oh, it wasn't me, I'm innocent. Like, that's all like Neptunian and Piscean in nature. So we have this very strong influence of that everybody needs to be cautiously aware of, because there could be people that do try to like get some of your information, you know, steal your Mercury's information. They try to steal your info. They try to invade, which is Neptune, your phone, your personal space, your personal items. Just be very, very cautious with stuff like that, okay? Mercury conjunct Neptune, be cautious of people who are lying and deceiving, and they're spraying a fog over the truth this coming week, especially around on the 19th, okay? Mercury conjunct Neptune, once again, it's great for spiritual work, especially if you're a tarot reader, you read runes, any material things that you do to channel intuitive abilities and just psychically, you know, obtain information. That's what this transit can do for you. Yeah, yes, indeed. So then lastly, we have a full moon in Virgo, and I will go through that for all the signs. So full moon involves the sun and the moon. So we have the sun in Pisces, the moon in Virgo. They oppose each other. They're kind of arguing a little bit, you know, trying to figure out which direction to go next. And then they finally reach a breaking point, and then they say, you know what, we're going to go in such and such direction. So there's a push and pull, a back and forth, a teeter-totter, a seesaw, if you will, between two areas of your natal chart, wherever Virgo is and wherever Pisces is, okay? So, sorry guys, let me take a drink of tea real quick. Okay, so the full moon in Virgo, it's going to be making a great aspect to Mars and Taurus, fellow Earth sign. A lot of times these full moons have crazy aspects to outer planets and make the full moon effect even loonier, right? Even more crazy. But this one, yeah, it has a trine to Mars. Sometimes even trines can open doors to things not going very smoothly, you know? So I would just say, you know, the full moon is trine Mars, which is about action and like getting things done like this. And Virgo is a sign of help and service and health. So it's about, you know, taking care of all that stuff, but like this because of the trine to Mars. I will do a horoscope for everybody for full moon in Virgo, okay, and let you guys know how and where it's affecting you the most. But just remember, full moons are a time of, you know, introspect and retrospect for a lot of people. A lot of people do actually go out of their minds a little bit and, you know, get a little feisty. But this is probably the first full moon of the year to where you will see recommendations. If you're on social media and you follow anyone in the, you know, spiritual and astrological world anyway, where some people said don't put your crystals out to charge or any of your material items that you use for like worship or something. Um, don't put them, don't put those things out under the full moon or new moon if it's an eclipse. Like we had 2 eclipses in January. Now here in February, this is a full moon. You know, you can put things out to charge like your crystals or whatever. And it's a little more safe. All right, so let's talk about the full moon in Virgo through the signs. So for Aries people, the full moon is going to be in your 6th house. So you guys can be finalizing some sort of decision that has to do with your job, or it can have to do with your health. For some of you guys, it can really be health because of this full moon, but then also we have Chiron moving into your 1st house, into your sign. So yeah, a lot of Virgos, you may have some kind of little, I don't want to say a wake-up call because that sounds a little too harsh, but you guys may be having a flash of insight that tells you, Virgo, you need to take care of your health. You know, you have this full moon in your 6th house of health. You've got Chiron, you know, that can represent pain and suffering sometimes moving into your sign. So take care of yourself, Aries people. But a full moon in the 6th house can be maybe letting go of a job, quitting, maybe even getting let go of from a job. But if something like that happens around a full moon or new moon, just know that it's more than likely it's a fated event. And you know, just keep that in mind. So that way, you know, if you do end up, say for example, you do get let go of from a job and it happens around a full moon, it was definitely something that was meant to be, you know, just take it as that. But yeah, full moon in your 6th house, Aries, there could be something that you're changing about your diet or your exercise routine that you've been kind of procrastinating on or trying to weigh things out. And now around the full moon, it's like, aha, you know what? I've got it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of myself and, you know, a little bit better than I was before. But yeah, this is something to do with your job, something to do with your health, because it's on the axis of the 6th and 12th houses. The 12th house can be affected because the sun part of the full moon is in the 12th anyway. And so what this can do for you, Aries, is I call that the mind, body, soul connection and health axis. So yeah, you could be really seriously working on something to do with your physical body and your health and making it better with this full moon. You just maybe some answers will come to you or like some sort of decision. And also your ability to take time out, even though you work hard, which is the 6th house, you still need to take time to rest or to just be yourself, you know? So yeah, that is the full moon in the 6th house for Aries. So next up is Taurus. If you're a Taurus rising, sun, or moon, the full moon in Virgo is in your 5th house. Wow, so this is a finalization of a decision that has to do with a love interest, possibly. What to do with the situation, maybe even choosing between 2 different ones or something. No judgment here, Taurus, okay? But you know, it's a house of romance. It's a house of dating. It's a house of flirting, having a good time overall, and what makes you feel good, what makes you feel confident and secure and have self-esteem. That's all fifth house stuff. So there's a full moon that's having you make a change there. Now, this is on the axis of the 5th and the 11th, and the 11th house is groups of people, and the 5th house is being an individual and shining there. So for some of you guys, there could be, there's a decision to be made about a relationship that's just that. It could be just weighing things out. The 5th house is not only dating and romance, but it is also children. So maybe there's a decision you're making about that. I mean, that is in regards to your children. That's related to your children, or whether or not to have children. For some of you Tauruses that don't have any. But yeah, being an individual versus being a part of a group is also the axis of the 5th and the 11th houses. So for some of you Tauruses, that could be you're deciding to like leave a group, leave an organization, and just be off on your own, or something along those lines. You know what, Taurus, last year, or no, not last year, 2 years ago, around this time, I'm sure there was a full moon in Virgo at some point around this time too. But I left a corporation in order to be a solo, entrepreneur. So, and that was at within this same week range, but 2 years ago. The years are different. So, I decided to break away from this company or organization and join a new one, and mostly be like on my own. So that could be something that you guys are also looking into, Tauruses. But yeah, full moon in the 5th, definitely bringing a decision, maybe something to a close or something to a head involving romance, dating, children, your own business, anything to do with any of that stuff. Your talent, your hobbies, big decision with any of those as well. Okay, so if you're a Gemini rising, sun, or moon, full moon in Virgo is going to be in your fourth house. Yeah, it's going to be in your fourth house. So a full moon in the fourth, super emotional, does have to do with family, does have to do with home. It could be between home and family and career. That axis is highlighted. There's two ends of it. There's the moon and then there's the sun. So for Geminis, yeah, it's like maybe there's some decision you need to make about like where you live, maybe moving, or a major family decision, and it could affect your career and vice versa. Full moon in the fourth house, I've seen that bring people to moving, or making a decision to move if you're not doing the actual move yet. There is let's see, for Gemini, yeah. So there could be, maybe you get like some sort of other position that you're offered within your career, but it's going to require for you to move. So you got to make that decision, or you have some new career opportunity, but it will affect your family life or your home life, and you'll need to discuss it and make a decision. For some of you guys, if you don't work, you're not a career Gemini or anything, a full moon in the fourth is just it'll just bring a lot of emotions out of you, and you'll be like really focused on your emotions a lot more and how to handle them and react to them and everything. Um, with the moon and the fourth house both rule emotions, so yeah, very emotional for Geminis, even though you guys don't really like to show all that emotion. You guys like to play it cool and be able to just talk through everything. There will be some emotional decisions made. And yeah, this could be a decision that has to do with your family, or maybe healing from some family issues, talking things out with family members. Anything about your home and family life can have like a really big emotional change. So for Cancer, if you're a Cancer rising, a Cancer sun, Cancer moon, the full moon is in your third house, and it's between the third and ninth. So there's something more like to do with the mind and the way that you think, and the knowledge that you have, and maybe if you want to learn a new skill, or pick up an old one that you kind of left behind for whatever reason, this could be a full moon to where you do something like that. Full moon in the third house, I have seen it bring, because third house is is, you know, short distances. It's driving around and traveling around and everything. So I've seen some people get a new car when there's a full moon in the third house because something comes up, you know, to where they have to. Um, Also, new communication devices. Maybe there's something with your phone and, you know, it breaks, or I don't know, something, or you lose it. Cancers always tend to like lose their phone in the couch, and then they're just like, whatever, for like a long time. Maybe even, I have a Cancer moon friend. She lost her phone in the couch for like 2 or 3 months and didn't even care. I was like, "Are you serious, girl? Really? That's why no one can get a hold of you except for on Facebook?" Yeah, she was like, "Oh, I lost my phone, oh, for like 3 months, and I didn't care." Oh my gosh, I have another Cancer moon friend. He did the same thing. He lost his phone. He thought it was stolen. It ended up being in the couch. Then he got a new phone. I'm like, "Wow." I don't know, there's something about cancers and phones. They're just like, oh, whatever. And if you're a cancer and you're not like that about your phone, good for you. You probably have something else in your chart that makes you not like that. But cancers value like more face-to-face communication. And this full moon is in the house of communication. So maybe you guys are making decisions about that too. Like, you know what? Maybe I want to change the way I communicate with everyone. I'm going to require that if you really are someone that values me and my friendship or whatever relationship we have, you will actually give me a call, not just a text or an email or DM. You will actually come to my house or meet me somewhere in person and let's have one-to-one real conversation. So maybe there's something to do with that, Cancers, that you guys are trying to make a big change in your life about. Maybe it's you that, you know, you want to kind of ditch, you know, more of the electronic stuff and be like, I'm going to start reaching out to people. Or you want others to do that to you. So you're like kind of laying the rules down with that, you know, to make some changes. Um, but yeah, it could be something to do with driving, something to do with communicating. It could be something to do with, you know, your relationships with people that you see on a day-to-day basis. And also this is said to be the house of siblings. So uh, um, something with your relationship with your siblings can change too. Okay. Oh, and education. Something about taking classes, but which ones to take? You know, the short ones, which is the third house, or long ones, being a long-term program of some sort, which is the ninth house. So, or it could have something to do with that. Okay. So now let's look at Leo. So if you're a Leo rising, a Leo sun, or a Leo moon, the full moon in Virgo is going to be in your second house. And this is going to be between the second and eighth houses. So that means that there's a decision that's being made that's based on money and finances, Leo. So for some of you guys, because full moons are like a breaking point and then, you know, you decide something. Um, for some of you guys, this could be a different job, a different way of making money. This could be a cutting off of an old way that you made money or handled money and stepping into something new. Um, you know, a full moon in the second house, this could be you either acquiring a major financial asset and responsibility, or maybe getting rid of one. Like, okay, I don't want this particular bill anymore or this expense anymore, so I'm going to get rid of it. You know, there's that energy is in the air with full moons, especially in critical Virgo. Um, but yeah, Leo, full moon in the second house, it it just has to do with money, and it's on the axis of the second and the eighth, which is maybe you have to be more self-sufficient versus codependent, you know, the potential for codependency, which is the eighth house, or not just codependency, but others supporting you, you know, maybe now you got to just support yourself and not expect others to help take care of you financially or materially at all. You got to step it up, Leo. But yeah, that's what I see for Leo. So for Virgo, if you are Virgo rising, sun, or moon, this full moon in Virgo is in your sign. Okay, so not only is it in your sign, it is the axis of you and relationships. So some sort of relationship decision can be made. But see, since the lunar part of it is in your first house, we're calling it a full moon in Virgo. This is a decision about anything, anywhere in your life, Virgo. But it can involve others because the sun is going to be in Pisces in your seventh. So there could be like a relationship decision. And maybe it's like you want to focus more on yourself, which is the first house, and not so much on relationships. And you kind of have to maybe cut some people off or something, which is the seventh house. Yeah, deciding between maybe a couple different relationship prospects. Who do you want to invest in? You know, who do you not want to really deal with anymore? Just some kind of thing like that. And it really affects you as a person, which is the first house. So some of you guys actually could be making some changes to your diet, to your exercise program, to anything involving bettering yourself physically, with this being the first house of the self. Okay, Virgo? So it's just an all-around opportunity for you to break free from something and start something new in your life, anywhere in your life, actually, Virgo. So next up is Libra. If you're a Libra rising, a Libra sun, a Libra moon, the full moon is in your 12th house. So this is, you know, first of all, pay attention to your dreams, Libra. They may have some messages there. Okay. So a full moon in the 12th. Wow, this can be a really good transit for releasing anything. Anything that you've been harboring from your past, anything you've been holding on to in your life at all, Libra. Releasing and letting it go is part of a full moon in the 12th house. Full moon in the 12th, yeah, it is on the axis of the 12th and the 6th, actually. So the 12th is like taking time out away from the world, being in solitude, worried about your own spiritual self. And then the 6th house is the opposite. It's the practical world. It's your job, being in the rat race, having to talk to people all day long. And, you know, so how do you retreat away from that and kind of chill out? That's the 12th on the opposite end. I call this the mind, body, soul axis. So remembering that you are a spiritual person, which is the 12th house, but you're also a physical person, which is the 6th. I find that this axis of the 12th and 6th house, or Virgo Pisces axis, a lot of times when stuff like that there is highlighted or someone is born with it, there is a serious imbalance in their lives that has to do with taking care of themselves versus being of service and being, you know, reporting for duty, ma'am, you know, doing for others. So Libra, you can have themes of that come up with this full moon. Like, how much time do you give to yourself for self-care versus how much of your time do you give to others? Yeah, so that's the 12th house stuff that I see for Libra people, just kind of wrapping things up, letting things go, because, you know, pretty soon we're going to have not one, but 2 full moons in the sign of Libra. Sneak peek. So before we have things cracking in your sign, Libra, what do you have to kind of get rid of and, you know, not deal with anymore? Okay, so next up is Scorpio. So if you're a Scorpio rising, sun, or moon, the full moon is going to be in your 11th house. So this is some kind of breakthrough or change or shift that is with your friends or with people that you associate with, or maybe you want to associate with a certain group of people and you're kind of like, I'm not sure. This full moon will bring you to a decision of whether or not to be affiliated in whatever way. A full moon in the 11th, this can also bring some people like a boom on social media. 11th house is social media, a release of a project on social media, you know, things like that. Is the 11th house. It is friends. So yeah, maybe a decision to keep a friendship or cut it off. There is like the opposite end, which is the 5th house of being an individual, flying high by yourself. And then there's the 11th house of a corporation, an organization, a group. So you could be making a decision. Is it more worth my time to stay here or to stay doing my own individual thing? So yeah, that's what it is for Scorpios. So, or yeah, 11th and 5th. Projects. I keep seeing projects, like something to do with some sort of creative project that you want to put out, or something like that. Sorry, one second. Okay. Little ones. Okay. So, yeah, so that's what it is for Scorpio people. Okay, so I'm sorry, just one second. Minister, can you close the door, please? Sorry. Okay, so next up is Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, sun, rising, or moon, the full moon in Virgo is in your 10th house. So Sagittarius, you guys have a major career decision that you are making. It could be a decision to, maybe you've been putting yourself out there, like fishing around for new jobs or something, or positions that boost you in your actual career that you have. And now it's like something does come up and you have to decide, or there's a couple things that come up and you have to decide between like two offers maybe, or this is between your 10th and 4th houses, this full moon. So maybe there's, for you, just like your opposite sign Gemini, something going on in the home, something with the home front, with family, that can affect a decision that you have with your career. Like maybe you guys have an offer that comes to you, but it's like the hours are going to be different, and that can affect your family life. So you have to make a decision, do I take this job and have to change my schedule, which affects my family life? Or do I stay on the lookout for something else that allows me the freedom to still be able to take care of everything else that I need to take care of in life? So there's some kind of back and forth that you have there with that. I mean, full moon in the 10th could be something to do with you as an authority figure or a parental figure, like a final decision based around something to do with those. But yeah, mostly it's 10th house of career, 4th house of home and family. Major decisions being made right now. Even if they're business related, they could be very emotional, like have an emotional impact on you, Sagittarius. So hopefully you guys get something good. Maybe you're offered a position or promotion or something. I'm hoping for some of you guys to have something like that happen, to advance in life. Yes. So that's for Sagittarius. So for Capricorn, if you're a Capricorn sun, rising, or moon, the full moon in Virgo is in your 9th house. So you guys are maybe deciding on a trip or something. Maybe there's going to be something that's finalized with a trip for traveling, either a short distance or long distance, because this is between the 9th and the 3rd houses. 9th house is far away voyages. 3rd house is like, let's go to to the next city over, so there's a difference there. So that's what some of your decisions can be, Capricorn. Like, do we take a trip, just kind of in the city next to us, or do we like try to, take a trip abroad or something like that? But yeah, a full moon in your 9th house can also be a decision or completion that has to do with your schooling. If you're a Capricorn that's in schooling, you're in training of some sort, that could be something that is finalized as well. Yeah, so that's what it is for Capricorn. Now, if it's something to do with travel, Capricorn, I would be a little cautious, because we do have Mercury going into shadow. I forgot to mention that actually. Around the 19th, on or around the 19th, I would say, Mercury goes into its shadow period. It's going to go retrograde. So remember, even in the shadow period, you must make decisions wisely. They must be well thought out. You must read all the fine print, because some shenanigans can go on. So yeah, Capricorn, this full moon is in your 9th house of travel. Jumping back to that, if there's anything to do with travel and travel plans, just make sure you plan accordingly. Check once, check twice, double, triple, quadruple, check everything, Capricorn, before you make a decision. All right, so next up is Aquarius. So if you're an Aquarius sun, rising, or moon, the full moon in Virgo is in your 8th house. So some of you guys could be really, maybe you're cutting off a resource of either your own or other people that use you as a resource, as far as like, oh, hey, Aquarius, can I borrow money? You know, I'm in a jam. Stuff like that. Maybe cutting off someone who's codependent, or codependent behaviors within yourself too, if you have any Aquarius. A full moon in your 8th house. This is a house of intimacy too. So this is a good thing. That could be good. Some new breakthroughs in a very strong bond that you have with someone could go on with this full moon. So also Aquarius, this is a decision based around finances that you could be making. This is the house of joint finances. And then we have on the opposite end, the house of the money that you make from your own paycheck. Okay. So then there's some decision around that stuff. If you're an Aquarius that hasn't worked in a while, maybe it is like, hey, the 8th house is your spouse's or anybody else's income that helps you out, you know, and so that's the 8th house. And then the 2nd house is your money that you earn by your own efforts, like your paycheck. So there's like, hey, should I continue to have someone, you know, people support me and this and that, or should I go off and actually have a paycheck of my own that's where I get my money and I don't have to worry about anybody else paying me back, borrowing, any of that stuff, you know? So that's what you guys could be going through for Aquarius. It could be about intimacy, it could be about finances, this full moon. So next up is Pisces. So if you're Pisces rising, sun, or moon, this full moon in Virgo is in your 7th house. So there's a breakthrough with relationships for you guys. So yes, it can mean breaking away from a relationship. It can mean breaking away from old patterns and behaviors in the relationships too, though. It's not just about a girl getting with a guy and the guy is so full of problems and infidelity. The girl is running off to counseling. You know, it's not just like that traditional thing. It is about realizations within yourself too, about how you handle yourself within relationships, your own behaviors. Doesn't matter if you're a girl, guy, whatever you identify as. How do you act within relationships? What do you allow? A lot of times I find full moons and new moons can be internal realizations and not always like something that happens outside of you as like, you know, with other people. It could be like, wow, you know what? In the past, I was this way or that way in relationships, and I want to kind of change that, you know, even though I don't have anybody right now, I want to work on myself because this is between the 1st and 7th, you know. I want to work on myself so that I could be a better relationship partner in the future, type of thing. This could be realizations about your relationships of the past and how other people have acted and what you will and will not accept going forward. Especially because Chiron is finishing up in your sign too, Pisces, you know, in the sign of the self. So, you know, there's a lot of inner work that could be done or being completed at this time in order for you to be free to love again or to, you know, welcome a relationship in your life again. For some Pisces, yes, it does mean taking things to the next level of commitment within a relationship, actually meeting someone and getting in a relationship, you know, just relationship stuff galore with this full moon for Pisces. But whatever it is, it affects you yourself very deeply because it's between the 7th and the 1st house. First house is you. It's you, Pisces. All right. So, yeah, that's it for this week's forecast. If you don't want to stay for the celebrity stuff, it's cool. Peace. We still love you. I hope you guys have a good week. Don't forget to see all my information, contact info, how you can get a reading and everything in the description box. And I will see you next week if you don't want to watch the celebrity stuff and you just wanted your horoscope. It's cool. It's cool. And thank you in advance to whoever is going to put timestamps. You guys always have our backs here on the videos on Lada, putting timestamps in the comments. And trust me, it's greatly appreciated. So appreciated. So I just wanted to say that because I don't know if I ever do. Thank you to whoever does that for us here on this platform. Okay, so yeah, see, we've got a lot of stuff going on this coming week, don't we, you guys? Okay, so now some people um wanted me to look into Ted Bundy's chart. Okay. Now, Ted Bundy was a serial killer. I say was because he was executed actually. He was given the death penalty because he murdered over 30 women. Ooh, so creepy, right? So we're gonna look very briefly into his natal chart and see, does he have any like anything that shows like indications of any tendencies he has, or just his personality. Now, what's interesting, what I found very interesting about him is okay, so there's a movie that came out about him, right? They had Zac Efron play him because he looks a lot they have a lot of similar features. They look a lot alike. So I think as far as physically, they picked a really good actor. But the thing is, Zac Efron, his look is a little more soft, a little more polished than Ted Bundy. So he is very handsome. So people are saying, oh, now this is glorifying and glamorizing this serial killer by getting this super handsome guy. But the thing is, what people said about Ted Bundy is that he was just very charming. Men said he was charming, not like in a way that they were attracted to him like that, but even like hetero men were like, yeah, he was a nice looking man. He was charming. Women, even for his trials for murdering women, women noticed he had a pattern of the type of women he claimed as his victims, and they would purposely try to look like those women because they knew that was his type and grab his attention somehow, like in the courtroom or wherever, because they thought he was so handsome and charming. And a lot of people said, how could, no, there's no way he can be like that. He's so nice. He's not a violent person, la, 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 la. But in the end, it was found, yeah, he was guilty as charged and he did have violent tendencies. But why did people find him so charming, though? And then even women were like, oh, he's so attractive. Really? A serial killer, women? Are you guys for real? So I'm going to screen share his chart and we're going to talk about it a little bit and see where does some of this stuff come from. It's very interesting. Very interesting story. Okay. So we're going to screen share. All right. So here we go. Oh wait, that's Zac Efron. Oops. That's the actor that plays him. But I did want to make a point though, but I'll make it in the end, okay? You guys see that? Okay. All right. So here we go. This is Ted Bundy's chart. We do have an ascendant, apparently. They don't list their source. Well, they say birth certificate. Okay, we'll rock with this. So the handsome and charming part, the charmer comes from Leo energy, number one. He's an ascendant in Leo. Leo ascendants tend to really be into their looks. They do come off as, you know, someone who's very charismatic. Um, Excuse me, they kept saying that he's a narcissist too. One of the darker sides to Leo energy, it's one of the signs that could be associated with stuff like that, with someone being so about themselves and into themselves. And also what's crazy is whenever this guy was in the media about any of his crimes, or he was the center of it, he loved being in the center of attention, even if it was about something negative like being accused of murder. Like he liked being the center of attention and people found it to be so weird. Well, Leo energy is about that. Okay, so that's why they said he was arrogant. A dark-sided Leo trait can be arrogance indeed. Okay, now here's the thing. I'm not gonna just, you know, dive too deep into his chart and talk about him for like an hour or anything. But here's what I'll tell you guys. So a little bit more of a backstory. It is said that Ted Bundy didn't know who his father was, or that he could have possibly been a child that was born out of incest. Um, If not incest, he was still born out of wedlock. And at first, his mother initially gave him away to like a home or something, foster care maybe, or something like that. But then her parents, his grandparents, convinced her to bring him back home. So he already had some sort of like abandonment mother thing going on. Um, and also, he discovered his birth certificate said father is unknown. So he had some issues with his mother, obviously, even though he played it off like, oh, my childhood is great, my family's great, and everything. Um, Look at this here. He has an abundance of wealth of planets down here in the fourth house, which rules your family and your home and your roots. Now, people always said that he described his early childhood, which, you know, the bottom of the chart can deal with that as well, um, and all the great memories he had and everything. But there's something he was hiding and harboring that has to do with his mom. I think that's where it came from, because fourth house energy is about motherhood, maternal family, you know, being mothered, being nurtured. Um, and if he was given up and then brought back, and then his father is unknown, and he could be this, could be that, he can have some sort of resentment towards his mother. Fourth housers don't play around when it comes to their moms. Either they are super protective over their mom, they love their mom, or if they have some sort of mommy issue, it really takes over and affects their whole entire lives. Men who have fourth house energy or Cancerian energy, if they have a not so great relationship with their mother, or they felt abandoned by her in some way, they can turn around and be the type of men that really just, they act like they love women, but they really hate women. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They have an issue with women. Obviously, he had an issue with women. Okay. He was able to be in relationships with some, yes, indeed, but he also did all of those heinous crimes towards only women. So I think the mommy issue messed him up. And another indicator of this in his chart, so this is the Placidus chart, right? So if we look at it from the whole sign perspective, he has Chiron, the wounded healer, okay, soft spot, a bruise on you, you know, emotionally. He has this in Scorpio. Scorpio is the fourth sign from Leo. It's the sign of the fourth house. Now, even though in Placidus it falls in the third, and that does play a part, it's still in the sign of the fourth, so it affects fourth house things for him. That means there's a wound when it comes to family, when it comes to motherhood and being nurtured. Okay, this does not lie. All right. Another thing is the ruler of his fourth house, one of the rulers, which is Pluto, is in the 12th house. The 12th house is mystery. It's things that are unclear, things that are shrouded in fog, and they're hard to grasp and bring into the clear. So there's something that is hidden, a secret. This is the house of secrets. There's some secrecy within the family, which is fourth house. Okay, with the ruler being here. Also, smooth talker. Mercury is talking. Venus is smooth, beautiful, charming. This is where his charm comes from. Okay, is these two planets, conjunct each other, that people will often say this person is a very sweet talker, or they have a way with words. He knew how to talk to women. He knew how to brighten them, sweeten them up. And not just women, but everybody. He knew how to speak in a charming way because of this. But yeah, I really feel like he has mommy issues, and that could be something that's a motivator for him to do what he did, towards women. It's very unfortunate. But yeah, look, he has a Scorpio stellium. Well, that's Libra. He has a Scorpio stellium, and then he has a Sagittarius stellium too. Now, one thing I wanted to mention as well is that, let's see, hold on. Where's his eighth house ruler? Neptune. It's in a second. Okay. Is that what was I going to mention? I forgot now. Oh my gosh, I forgot. You know what? I think the reason why he's coming to like he's becoming a topic again, even years after he's no longer here. I think it's because of the eclipses in Leo. If his ascendant is Leo, we've had eclipses there over the last 2 years. And even after people pass away, you guys, there's things that can happen that hit points in their charts that bring them to light, bring them to attention towards others in some sort of way. So that could be why. Oh, here's the interesting thing I was going to tell you guys about. So, you know, the murders and everything. Oh my gosh. Someone has to be going through some wacky, whacked out transits, man. You know, in order to do such heinous things. So I looked at an ephemeris. So he did a lot of his killings between 1974 and 1978. So I looked at an ephemeris for 1978, what was going on with Uranus? Uranus is the planet of weird and sudden and, you know, nervousness and just kind of jumping and jolting and just doing things. Uranus was in Scorpio and he does have planets in the sign of Scorpio. Where is he at? He does have a Scorpio stellium. So I think as soon as Uranus hit the sign of Scorpio, it did hit his Chiron. So that's his pain. And then Uranus is doing sudden, sporadic, weird, unexpected things. So Uranus on his Chiron could have been the cause of the start of his, you know, his issues or whatever with with murdering. And then once we got further into it, yeah, Uranus is here, and at least in the same sign as these planets, if not in a conjunction. And Uranus, like I said, is the planet of weird, you know. And then through the 80s, when he was in prison, he got even more like a little bit out there. So that was Uranus in Scorpio. And then Uranus going into Sagittarius as well, like in the 80s, definitely passed over his Sagittarius stellium. So with all these planets lined up in signs that are right next to each other, Uranus transits can be crazy. Like they have like so many years instead of one person, oh, Uranus passed over my son. Okay, I'm done with a major Uranus transit. No, somebody with a stellium like this, Uranus is going to run through their whole entire existence. Okay. So he had Uranus run through here and, you know, caused him to do some whacked out, crazy things. He also has the moon and Mars together. The moon can represent mother, women, nurturing figures. Mars is anger and aggression. So he took his Mars anger out on the moon here, you know, which is it's very unfortunate. So yeah, he did have issues with women. I think this especially points to it. And then also the rulership thing with yeah, the ruler of the 4th house and the 12th house of secrets. Like there was definitely some crazy secretive thing going on about his early childhood, his family life, that made him cling on to the memories. And then 4th house energy. People who have Mercury in the 4th, especially, they really do cling on to their memories. They cling on to their childhood. They try to cling on to their family and their mothers and everything. And I think that's why he spoke so highly of that time of his life. It's just in his nature to cling on to some of the good times, but you know, he did not reveal the bad until later on about finding his birth certificate and, you know, how he felt about that and everything. So interesting to point out really quick, Zac Efron plays Ted Bundy in the movie about him. What do they have in common? Well, the only thing I really saw they have in common is the Mercury conjunct Pluto Mercury conjunct Venus in Scorpio. He has that. Zac Efron has that. And then so does Ted Bundy. So, but other than that, their ascendants are different. I mean, if they do have the right ascendant for either person, they just look a lot alike though, don't they? It's crazy. But yeah, this Venus, and his Venus is exact on Pluto and Scorpio. Wow, Zac Efron must be one possessive dude when he's got a girlfriend, I bet. But anyway, yeah, and that Scorpio energy is very intense and it could be very dark. And Scorpio is the sign of that rules death, you know? So not saying all Scorpios are killers, but he just really tapped into the dark side of Scorpio, which is he followed women and then, you know, did horrible things to them. Um, so anything else? Is there anything else I can show? With Ted Bundy, I mean, that's mostly it, you guys. I think he did what he did because he had family and mommy issues. Excuse me. He probably felt resentment, like because of abandonment, you know, from his mom at first, and when he found out about that, yeah, so that get that he needed some psychological help early on, and it doesn't seem like he got it, and then he ended up taking it, you know, acting upon it in crazy ways. So anyway, you guys, that is it for this week's horoscope and coffee talk. Let me go back to you guys real quick here. Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh, what are you guys talking about? Wow, you guys are having an interesting discussion in the chat. Ruby, you just joined. Who were we talking? We were talking about Ted Bundy. I put him in the title. He's a serial killer. There's documentaries about him on Netflix. There's a couple of them actually, and I watched the newest one that's on Netflix with all his interviews. I watched it all um, evening so that I could be prepared for you guys and, you know, let you know what I see. Okay. Where did you see he had issues with women? The fourth house? Yes. Not just the fourth house, but because he had all this fourth house energy, like he needed to feel loved and nurtured. And if it fourth house energy, think of it as this: it's the energy of mothering and nurturing, but it's also the energy of like babies and having babies. And think of fourth house people can be like big babies in a way, you know, they like to be baby, they like to be coddled and stuff in a way, and they get really attached to their mothers. um so when he found out, I don't know what age he was given to, like a, what's it called, like a home or something, and then taken back. I don't know if he's old enough to remember it, because I think I recall they said he was a baby when that happened, but he must have found out about it later. Um, and that can really mess with the fourth houser to know that like their mother abandoned them, you know? And then the whole thing with finding out on his birth certificate, it says father unknown. So like he probably really had an issue with his mother and thought, oh, you brought me into this world out of wedlock or out of an incestual, is that the word? Relationship, you know, like, oh, you know, he could probably have been questioning his entire existence after finding out that on his birth certificate. I'm sure that's something difficult to deal with, not making excuses or anything, but just trying to explain the root of that type of behavior through astrology, through his chart. um Fourth housers and cancers, if they had a difficult relationship with their mom, if their early childhood was messed up, they can be loony. You know what I'm saying? Loony, Luna, the moon. Yeah, they can. It can really affect them deeply in a very deep psychological way that, like, you know, filters into their whole entire lives. If something didn't go right with their mom, family, or early childhood. So yeah, and I think that Uranus transit through Scorpio and through Sagittarius made him do whacked out stuff. So anyhow, you guys, I have got to get some rest. I'm actually feeling a little better after talking to you guys, not like as flared up as this Mars on my Mars and on my Sun had me earlier. But have a good night, a good morning, a good day, wherever you guys are at. Have a great week. There's so many shifts going on this week for real. So, and you know, with Chiron leaving Pisces, just letting you guys know, like the last couple days, the last degree of it, it really is like a release, you know? There's a final visitation of pain And if there is, then just, you know, try to remember what you learned from any type of suffering you've gone through. Wherever Pisces is at in your chart, you've got to look that up yourself. But there's a finalization, a healing from something, though. So, you know, take care of yourselves this week. That 29th degree, there's a lot of pressure. I have a friend who's an astrologer as well, really awesome astrologer and numerologist. And she described the 29th degree in astrology. She calls it the degree of the pressure cooker. You know, that's the way that people feel about a lot of their pains right now. It's like they're in a pressure cooker and they just want things to move. They want things to change. They want to get over things. They want things to shift. So that's what's going on. So, you know, be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others this week. Lots of emotional stuff. And then, yeah, Mercury conjunct Neptune as well is like very sensitive, you know, so have a good cry if you need to. But yeah, there's all this Pisces stuff popping off. So anyway, you guys, I'm gonna get off of here and rest. So have a great week, and I'll see you guys next week, and we will talk about some more stuff that's going on. If you guys have any suggestions for the celebrity topics, celebrity charts for me to look into, leave them in the chat or leave them in the comments after this processes, and I'll see what I can look into for you guys. All right, so take care, you guys. And I'll see you later. Peace.